I think sometimes people think innovation has to be new and completely outside of the zone of where you're at, but you guys took something that you already had and tweaked it just a little bit, and it completely changed the game.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Awesoming's podcast, where we highlight people pursuing their definition of, you guessed it, awesome. So buckle up and get ready for some more success story adventures and failures from Kentucky's tech and entrepreneur community. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into this episode of Awesoming's podcast. I'm pretty pumped because my favorite coach of all time is sitting in the room with us. And man, I feel like he's a proud dad, I'm a proud son. So we just walked off the ball field together after doing some long toss. Liz was out in the outfield shagging balls, diving left and right. And yes, we are with Andy Shea of the Lexington Legends, if you didn't get all the Easter eggs. So I'm pretty pumped. And yeah, I'm just going to, Liz, you take it away because I'm going to ramble. I just love baseball. I'm glad he's with us. Liz, we're talking about venture labs and innovation and a pretty cool story. So you give Andy some love and let him know why he's here.
Thanks, Garrett. Garrett needs a chance to calm down for how excited he is for this episode.
I did have cold brew this morning, so that's why I'm a little jittery.
I'm on the podcast today. Garrett let me come back, thankfully. We're going to keep going with our sort of mini-series for Venture Labs. And just a quick reminder, so Awesome Inc., as you guys know, we've been driving Kentucky's entrepreneur community for over 10 years with a lot of help from our community partners. And we've now launched the Venture Labs program, which helps corporate companies have a way to tap into that success to stay innovative. So my job, as a reminder, is to build a community of people who care about innovation as much as we do. And I'm looking at another one of them. So today we've got Andy Shea, one of our favorite friends of Venture Labs, mostly because he's a dang good time. And we want to talk about innovation. We want to talk about kind of the culture you've built at the Legends. I don't know that most people think baseball and then think innovation. So we're excited to change that today. So Andy, why don't you tell us a little bit about you, and then we'll dive into some questions.
Well, I appreciate it. Sounds awesome. So I'm the president and CEO of the Legends. This has been my 8th year as the president of the Legends, but I've been with the company again for 16 seasons. I moved here from Philadelphia, pretty much right out of Boston College. Played baseball my first 2 years at BC, tore the shoulder, and figured next best thing to play in was working in it. I'd never been to this state, let alone really even this part of the country. I thought I'd be here for 1 season, then 2 seasons, then 3, and then that was 16 seasons ago. So I love it. I love this area. I love this market, and I love this industry because you could do something different every single day.
If I understand correctly, you started out like working the parking lot, right? You've really come full circle.
I did. It was funny. I mean, I still remember that like vividly in 2005 when, I'm working the parking lot and these parents for like a high school baseball game, let alone for Legends games, but for the high school games. And at that time, I really wasn't that far removed from playing in high school. And I thought it was so awesome when we played where the Phillies did. I thought it was so awesome where we played in minor league ballparks. And these parents were giving me hell over $2. And I was like,
remember
in the back of my head,
used to be $2?
Yeah. Well, in the back of my head, I was like, man, I'm 650 miles away from anyone I know. I just graduated from Boston College, and I'm getting yelled at by people I have no clue so that they can watch their kids on, at that time, a 5-year-old professional baseball stadium. I was like, what the heck is going on? But at this point, I mean, I wouldn't trade those experiences for the world. I mean, I loved that. I did literal door-to-door season ticket sales. I did season ticket sales phone calls where, I was told to make 75 a day. So I was like, screw it. And I made 100 a day. It was
That's
like,
awesome.
And I mean, there were plenty of times where I'd dial 3 numbers and then quick hang up the phone. But now, I mean, I wouldn't trade that stuff for the world.
Let's talk a little bit about, obviously we care about baseball. Garrett's probably going to have a lot of
I'm ready.
Baseball fanatic
Sweet.
questions, but I'm going to try to keep us focused on innovation. So you've built something really unique at the Legends. I don't think we're saying that just because we love Lexington so much, but we're proud of our local baseball team. I don't know that everyone even knows theirs, right? But you've made a name, you've made a brand in the community. And I think a lot of that is come from this sort of atmosphere of like, any idea is a good idea. We want the creative ones. We want the crazy ones. You guys do all sorts of weird parties and you call them baseball games. You let people throw out ideas. So talk to me about how you build that sort of culture, both on your internal team and then maybe sort of as your brand in the community.
Well, absolutely. I mean, like, it's funny. I mean, we I say it multiple times a year that when we're talking about like a promotion or event or something, I'll be like, all right, start with someone winning a trip to the moon. All right, if we can't do that, then what's the step right below that? Well, what's the other step? And just trying to get them to think as weird, wild, crazy as humanly possible. And I mean, I joke with them almost all the time. I'm like, how many times do I say no? It's like, hey, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Yep. I mean, and that's what's awesome. And that's what's so fun about this industry. I think this company, and I think, again, this market is that, you can try really weird, goofy things. And sometimes they're awesome. Sometimes they're not. But I mean, with the industry and the company and the brand that we have, and I think that we've built up, I always think it's worth a try. And, again, just keep having fun with it. And, you throw enough against the wall, that type of stuff. But, it's just not having that complacency. And it's not just looking at, oh, well, this is last year. Oh, well, this was last year. It's like, okay, that's fine. And of course, that's valuable. But what next?
I have two questions. The first one's, I don't know if you can share, but what's maybe the weirdest thing you guys tried that didn't work?
I mean, it's kind of funny. I guess it depends how you define didn't work. But I mean, when we did a funeral giveaway, that was definitely weird. It was kind of received cool, because, I mean, it's one of those things you don't like thinking about it and blah, blah, blah. But it definitely was weird. And the finals for winning it, the three people on the field in the middle of a game read what their obituary would be.
Can you walk me? I'm sorry, you just threw out funeral giveaway. I have participated in that before. I'm looking at Garrett and he hasn't either.
No?
What's a funeral giveaway?
So, I mean, it was funny. It was one of the local funeral homes partnered with us. And I mean, if I remember right, because it was a little while ago and we haven't really revisited it, but I think it was they gave up to, it was something like a $5,000 credit towards funeral services.
Sure. Which, to be clear, is a hard time in life when having support and extra help. I'm sure, I definitely understand where that is a great idea.
Oh, and it's like one of those, again, super morbid. And that's what, again, it was kind of creepy and weird. But I mean, it sadly is a real life thing. So, I mean, it wasn't, people participated.
Yeah.
I guess that's how again, whether you define success, however so, but I mean, people definitely participated in it. And I think they left, again, really weirded out, as I think we all were.
Maybe with a smirk on their face.
Yeah, exactly. Well, heck, someone won. It's, in a sense, like winning real money. So
yeah, very much so.
But that one definitely stands out. I mean, that one was very, 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 very unique. And
sure.
Yeah, it's been a while since we did that one.
So my second question, this seems like it comes naturally for you. We talk a lot about how sometimes companies get too held up and this is our very specific product or service and they don't think about the customer experience. You guys, you're a baseball team, you're a baseball field, but I think you do a great job at not getting fixated on it's just a game. People are paying a ticket to come to a game. They're paying a ticket for an experience or a memory. Has that always been a part of your understanding of baseball, or has that sort of developed over your time of running this company?
I think it's definitely developed over the time here and kind of in our industry too, where it's like, hey, if we have an awesome team and talent on the field, that's great. But if we don't, hey, we still need to sell tickets. We still want to have people to have fun. We still need to kind of do our job in that part of it. So the more that we've been able to, in a sense, focus on the off-field type stuff, that's where, and then it just snowballs and grows from there on what you can do. Because again, a regular season for us is 70 games. So, I mean, on one hand, I'd love to do something different 70 times, but then it's like, okay, wait, maybe that's not totally realistic. So how can we do 50, or whatever the case is?
Sure. So talk to me a little bit. There are two programs that we love. And here in a second, I want to get to sort of how you guys tackled 2020. But you have been innovative for a long time. Talk to me about the mustache. Talk to me about the mascot, how that sort of creative process came up and maybe changed perception of the brand.
Well, definitely. So when it was like 11, it was during our 12th season. And it was kind of like, hey, I love the name Lexington Legends. It's the alliteration. You can have fun with it marketing. It makes sense. It gets people talking, all of that stuff. And our colors were navy blue and hunter green. And it's like, okay, A1 safe. You're not offending anyone by that stuff. But it was like, all right, how can we go not from A to Z, not completely rename ourselves, completely rebrand and go to pink and yellow. But it was, how can we flare it up? How can we, electrify it? How can we just make it more fun? So we started, we made it a little cooler blue, a little cooler green. And then it was funny. I mean, we started, like everyone else in this state, we were like, oh, what if it was a horse mascot? Or what if it was something to do with horses? And what if it was a horse fly? And then it was like one of those ones where like,
I love that.
It would have been awesome. I mean, that one is
a horsefly.
Yeah. So it was like everything was like geared towards horses. And I get it. It's the equine capital of the world. But then it was like, you know what? Our mascot has had this big, huge mustache this whole time. Whether it's seeing pictures of babies with like a mustache pacifier, or you see people that have the mustache tattoo on their index finger. You see, mustaches are just like a cultural funny for all ages and demographics. So, and then we were like, what if it's literally just a mustache? And it was funny. I mean, because it was after like kind of our idea sharing and talking to different people in our company, out of our company, former company, whatever it may be. And then it was just really funny that it was like almost the best idea had, in a sense, literally been right in front of us the whole time.
Under your nose?
Yeah.
If you will.
Yes, I've missed that for 8 years. That's awful. But, it was so funny. And like, in all seriousness, at the very first year, we were like, wait, is this a little too over the top? What if it was... So actually, that very first year, it was just the team only wore that hat on road games, because we thought, okay, it won't like offend anyone around here or be too weird, but it'll be pretty cool on the road, and maybe people from different cities will want to buy it.
Yeah.
But then after that first year, we were like, we're going way all in. We've gone. Of course, they wear it at home. They wear it on the road. We still 8 years in. I mean, we have mustache everything. We have corny mustache shirts every single year. I mean, I had to like ban myself from buying more mustache stuff on Amazon because I went on like a kick with doormats, Post-it notes, paper clips, glasses, and I don't even wear glasses, pillows. Like I had just note cards. I could go on. So I was like, okay, this is funny, but like to myself. So it's been awesome.
I think what I find interesting, to put it in more practical terms from like an innovation perspective, is you guys, I think sometimes people think innovation has to be new and completely outside of the zone of where you're at. But you guys took something that you already had and tweaked it just a little bit, and it completely changed the game. And maybe your next thing will be completely out of the box. Who knows? But I think sometimes people, they're intimidated. I don't know that you even probably viewed that process as like, wow, this is incredibly innovative. But it is, because you allowed your team to think creatively enough to say, like, what are we missing? What can we view in just a different way? And that's pretty rare. I don't think all leaders do that.
Well, I appreciate that. And I mean, it's funny. Sometimes I check, we've got to kind of check ourselves on almost the opposite. Like one thing that comes to mind this year was, the whole too close to the forest, you don't see the trees type thing, where there were a bunch of like minor league baseball teams that were showing movies in their ballpark, like on the Jumbotron. And like it was Field of Dreams or it was Sandlot, so the people in our office really started going down this rabbit hole of it's not going to be a baseball thing because that's what everyone else is doing. And then it was like, wait, first of all, just because they're doing that in Pensacola, Florida, means literally nothing for our fans and for our market. And then it's like, hey, you know what? We are a baseball stadium, so we should have a baseball movie. So I mean, it was like that was the more recent one on the flip side, where it was like, okay, hey, just because it may not literally be unique in the country doesn't mean that it's still not great for us right here.
We always say focus on the hot dog around here, like keeping the main thing. That's what matters. So
yeah, no, that's good.
I think one thing too, if you don't mind me jumping in, and this goes back to your innovative comment, it has nothing to do with technology. I mean, yeah, we work with startups and cool tech companies, but you took America's pastime, which is still super relevant in my opinion. Thanks for agreeing with me.
Yeah, of course.
You found a way to beef it up and make it fun for anybody, from the 6-year-old who wants to go play for your team to the elderly couple where that's been their Friday night date for so many years. And It's still cool to keep it fresh and invite a company like Awesome Inc., where we work with a wide array of people to come and be a part of your summer. And that's something that to me was really, really special. It's we got to be a part of your innovation, not vice versa. And so that's cool that just to see what you've done with your program and your culture. And that's, again, that's a huge reason why we sought you out, is because you are not like every other baseball CEO or anybody that we see. You focus on your culture, and that's what a lot of companies are needing right now. So again, props to you for what you've done. It's been really exciting to watch the Legends.
As a shameless plug, what Garrett's referring to is Andy and his team graciously let us host our 5 across pitch competition. It was almost 3 times. It was almost 3 times. We did it there twice, and we almost did it 3 times.
It is 2020. Yeah, I get it.
But no, Garrett, I think that's a great point. What you didn't require a single line of code. It didn't require a new software system,
an app, or anything that.
Yeah, you just changed something small, and it sounds like it re-energized what you guys were doing at the time.
It did. Really it's funny. I mean, like we've, I tell everyone in my office has heard me say this probably like 1 million times. Start with yes. It's like if you're talking, it's like, yes, like we can do it this way, or we can do it like this. There's nothing that kills me more than when someone just says no. It's like, okay, well, you better tell me why. Or, because this is better for everyone. If we can have, whether it's events, whether it's stuff at the stadium, whether it's, the other one that was funny that I thought that our staff uniforms during games were just like, again, kind of lame. So I was like, you know what? I am going to go to A to Z on this one. And I'm not exactly like the tie-dye shirt type of personality, but our staff uniforms were tie-dye t-shirts that had mustaches all over them. It was so funny how like I got like long emails from our front office staff that sits 20 feet away from me telling me why they didn't think that we should be wearing that, why they didn't think. And like almost every time I'm like, all right, let's not take ourselves too seriously here. Like this is literally, we tell ourselves all the time, this is about fun. Mm-hmm. So why do we feel like we need to wear a navy blue polo shirt to work every day? You know what I mean? The thing that was so funny with that year too is, the fans loved it so much that we literally ended up selling them in the store. Yeah, exactly. And we still have. And it was literally our number one seller in the merchandise store. So, there was one where it was like, that was not by design, that it was going to be like some like retail trendsetter.
Yep.
But it was just so fun, goofy, and like out there that you have that tie-dye and mustache combo that it ended up being awesome. And as a staff, we stood out. Yep. So that was good too.
Absolutely.
I think to that point as well, you're leading your team. Sure, they're all ball players. Like you have a staff, as you mentioned, and they look to you. And when you're taking yourself way too seriously, that loses the fun. So the fact that you're like, guys, take a deep breath. We're supposed to be providing entertainment. That's good to hear, especially for someone who's not in that arena all the time.
Love it. Yeah. Well, as you guys can see now, I'm wearing shorts. So, I try and do it year round. I love, and I think that that's almost like it hits everyone else when they see me walk in the door, vice versa, that it's like, okay, this dude wears shorts almost 12 months a year. Like, let's not take it over the top serious. Like, of course, it's real work and, we're getting paychecks and so forth, but you just simply have to have fun with it.
Yeah. Rule number 17, bring the fun, baby.
Yes.
Good plug.
Yes.
I want to talk about one more thing. And then I think in our next episode, we're going to move to what your innovation looked like in 2020. But when we got to come to a Venture Labs workshop for you guys, one of the coolest things for me that had nothing to do with the workshop was finding out about your stash taking program. Our pitch workshop was not, you guys are no strangers to pitch competitions, as we found out, and you guys came up with that sort of all on your own. So I don't know that I hear about it talked about in the community a ton. So I would love for more people to hear about what was that stash take program, because you guys have taken the spirit of entrepreneurship and really applied it to schools. So
well, awesome. And it kind of gives me chills even thinking about like how it really, really started. So several years ago, like for the first time in minor league baseball history, they hired a young guy to run the diversity initiatives and really kind of expanding the fan base as well as who works in minor league baseball so that it's more diverse and so that we're, really and truly, baseball is America's pastime. So, that should be for 100% of the people in America and in the world for that matter.
Yeah.
So I was really honored because he had heard of what I had done in Lexington, what the Legends had done. So like a month after he was hired, we were literally out of the 160 minor league baseball teams. We were the first place that he visited in person. And we were talking about this, that, and the other thing. And, he had already sent out like a few surveys to the 160 teams. So I started talking to him about, hey, I think we can do this. I think we can do this. I think we can do this. And, whether it was the new factor, whether it was 160, whether it was like, across the map, like it was still just surveys. So I was like, I want to do. So I was like, you know what? We don't really need, it doesn't need to be part of the minor league baseball format. So, what my concept was to reach people in more diverse areas of Lexington at each level of school. So it was in elementary school, it was William Wells Brown. In middle school, it was Crawford Elementary. High school, Bryan Station High School. College, Kentucky State University. So I talked to either principals or administrators at each place on how we can have a bigger presence just from the Legends there. And then I thought, okay, the coolest way possible to get them pumped about really nothing to do with what happens on the field. It didn't have the jersey on your back, type thing. It was, what can we come up with that would get them really pumped about the business of baseball and what we, in a sense, do on a 12-month basis in the Legends office. So then it was like, okay, cool. There's obviously the show Shark Tank. So, and with the mustache. So it's like, all right, we've got the name for it right there. Easy enough with Stash Tank. So, and the key to me was that we would have the groups at each one of these levels of school participate in putting together like a little business model. But the key was that the winning group, we did it so that they really saw what they were pitching and what their business model was. They saw it in action at the ballpark. So for elementary school, they decided and put a business model together for a giveaway item. And again, the key was that they was so funny, and the little bar graphs were so funny and cute. Like they would poll 20 of their friends, do you think this is cool or not? And 19 people thought it was cool and one person didn't. So it's cool.
Do you want a slap wristband or a new whistle?
One was a slap mustache bracelet.
Yep.
One was a little like glow in the dark bracelet, again, that I had never really even heard of. One year this was awesome because it was also like healthy initiative, but it was a Legends water bottle that had like the little fruit infuser thing that you could have in it. One year it was a like Thunder Sticks noisemaker type thing. So again, and with all these, it wasn't just the idea part. I mean, they researched what the costs were. They researched what was popular and what was trending, and they put together, whether at fourth and fifth graders were putting together PowerPoint presentations that they came to the ballpark to present to a couple people from our office, but then also several other kind of community leaders, and our city councilman was at each one as a judge. I mean, it was absolutely awesome. For the middle schoolers, it was like, all right, maybe like a little level up. So theirs was selecting and really creating a food item that we would have on our concession stands. So I will admit, I am a pet pig owner. So the one that I have literally never tried was the bacon wrapped chicken nuggets. That was one of the winners that I'm sorry I've still never tried, because
for those who don't know,
pork free.
One
yeah,
of
exactly.
Andy's secrets is he's a big pig guy.
Yeah, but the thing that was cool is that, again, like they put together these menu items and they figured out what the prep time was and what the cost of each ingredient was, not just like the total cost. So I mean, I think they really, really learned something about our business, about the food industry, and everything else. Bryan Station High School, they put together like a event planning / marketing plan for opening day. And then the college one was really cool too, in a different regard. Theirs wasn't necessarily pitching to us, but then we sponsored 10 kids from there to go to the baseball winter meetings and the job fair that goes on there, so that they could see and be part of, really kind of our business of it. So it was really amazing because it spurred like crazy everyone's entrepreneurial spirits. And whether you're a fourth grader or you're us in the office, the middle schoolers, everyone that was coming together to really brainstorm, but also really research what goes on with the baseball side of it. And then I hope it was so awesome for these kids when they went to the giveaway game and telling their parents or anyone that was around, hey, we thought of that. Me and my friend thought of that. When they would see Crawford Middle School on our menu and be able to point to that.
I mean, how awesome. That would be bigger than life as a little kid.
So that's that was the goal. And that was, again, to really kind of spur and create that interest in just creating in general. But then, of course, also hey, this is so cool. And this is a heck of a lot more than, being able to throw really hard or hit the ball a lot.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
none of us do that now.
So here in a bit, we're going to kind of jump to the year 2020 and what that's meant for your team. But I think the two things I want to call out, because we spend so much time talking about the theory and philosophy of innovation, and you're just living it. But the two things that I notice is one, as two of the biggest things we've learned that are important for innovation are, one, executive sponsorship. And I love it you said that you're a yes person. And that I think is pretty rare from like a C-suite. And I understand you guys have a relatively small team. It's not like you've got, 300 member office, but still you're a yes guy. You empower your employees to come up with those ideas. And I don't know, I hope you know how valuable that is. And then two, that you have created this community where any idea goes. Like any idea is like, even among employees, even among the kids that you work with. So both executive sponsorships, but then you're just down for new stuff. I mean, I think you were probably the easiest pitch of our Venture Labs workshop. We were like, hey, can we come help your employees think of new ideas and iterate on them? And you were like, yeah, in what world would I say no to this? And we had a great time. It was just such a energetic group, and we could tell we were walking into something that was pretty rare for like a corporate company, if you will. So yeah. I just want to name those things that you tell these stories and you're living it, but these are actual lessons that I think other companies can apply to them as well. Awesome. So with that, we'll kind of wrap up this episode, and I'm excited to talk to people about what you did with all of this culture of innovation in 2020.
Sweet.
Well, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for checking out this episode of Awesomings Podcast. And another quick thank you to Lee Rosevere and a few members from our community who provide the music that you hear in this show. Lastly, give us a follow on Instagram, Facebook, all that jazz. Or even better, come on down to our space. Come be a part of our community and get plugged in, and let's start something awesome together. You guys rock. We'll see you next time.